Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 23rd of April 2020. This is The Gap, episode 513. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and you wouldn't hear that, people at home. Joab cracking his neck. You know why?
Yeah.
Because of noise cancelling. We've all got it now.
Noise cancelling. We've gone fucking... We're through the fucking looking glass now. This shit's crazy. Noise cancelling is... This AI just fucking... undoing all the gross sounds that I make all the fucking time. I mean, we'll have to wait and see just how far it can go at blocking my gross sounds. But yeah, you might never hear me fart on this podcast again. Which I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe technology's gone too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, what's your morning commute going to be like if you don't have to put up with Joab like squeaking out a fucking cheeky little fart near shit himself every other fucking week? Like, I don't know, just it concerns me. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I suspect this will be devastating to our subscriber numbers, but we'll see. We'll see. See how it goes. I could turn it off and then just release the Snyder Cut with all farts still intact.
Right.
Yeah.
Just whenever you feel one coming, just click the button, slip it through.
Yeah.
Put the noise gate back on.
Exactly. Like we'll just set up a macro. Easy.
Yeah.
No, we are using RTX Voice, which is a AI-based tech from Nvidia, which came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday. And it legit uses AI to determine like
and hardware.
What is background. It doesn't use the hardware, man.
Yeah, it's using hardware as well. Because a lot of people are having problems with the earlier cards, like it seems like the last year's series, like the 900 series. Is it 900? What was before this one?
10
series. Seem to be working okay for the most part. Right. Some people are reporting issues in games with stuttering and whatnot, but the 900 series are struggling a little bit with it.
Well, I think that's just the amount of fucking RAM it's using, because it is using a fucking lot of RAM.
Yeah,
it's using a lot of RAM. What are we at the moment? Oh, it's down to 300 megabytes for me. But yeah,
mine's
it was up there. Once you have OBS on at the same time, I guess. But yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know.
There's some crazy videos out there of people like with like vacuum cleaners and fans and shit running and just talking.
Yeah, you linked it yesterday, and you could just like that was fucking mind blowing. And then almost immediately I saw there's a really simple edit that you can do to make it work on non-RTX, because it's limited by default to RTX cards, which makes it like 20 series cards basically. But literally all you have to do is you start the installer and it unpacks all the installer files. And then you go to your temp files, and there's the installation package. And if you edit one file, and it's a single piece of code called constraints, and if you eliminate the constraints that limit it to RTX cards only, to deliberately detect RTX cards, it works fine. You can install it on fucking anything, and it appears to work based on how old your tech is. But I got a 10 series card, a 1070, and it works fucking real well. So
I think the stats that I saw of someone running some tests was like a 5% sort of increase or decrease in like frame rate, or 10% for 10 series cards, whereas RTX cards were like 1 or 2%.
Right, yeah.
So there's some people doing some tests, but I'm sure there will be like a I don't know, like Digital Foundry or someone will be dropping some numbers soon. Obviously, this thing's still in beta, but at this stage, it's pretty impressive what it's doing. It's kind of like having,
Yeah.
it's just basically using the hardware that you've got to do like noise suppression, which you'd normally have to spend a bunch of money on as like a sound engineer.
Yeah.
Or like basically when we finish running this show, I go through all of that when we do post processing. Like I will try and eliminate as much background noise as I can, or like the sort of the white noise that you hear in the background, and that
Yeah.
takes that'll run through the whole show. It takes a couple of minutes. There's obviously ways we can
Yeah.
do it software wise through on the fly, but that increases things like latency. And
Yeah.
while we're
Or
already
cartons all over the
recording
walls.
halfway
Or,
across the world already, there's enough latency
yeah.
as it is, so we don't need more on top of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's an impressive solution, especially for us when we're playing video games and all you can hear is Joab's keyboard every 3 seconds.
Which is fucking rich coming from you, mate, because all we can fucking hear these days is your wife clanging and banging pots and pans.
That's what it's like for you all the time.
Sometimes I feel like she must be like deliberately trying to, when fucking Bart is 2 and they're about to they've just had Lisa as a baby, and you're like clanging, look me, look, I want attention. I think that's Bender. But anyway, one of the fucking Matt Groening TV shows. That's I assume your wife making noise. Yeah.
Yes, because I'm literally next to the kitchen. I can nearly touch the fridge. But anyway, yeah, it's an impressive beta feature that just dropped out of nowhere. So how that changes things would be interesting. I know that Discord added a I don't know what they call it, some sort of suppressor.
Noise suppression powered by Crisp.
Right. But I did see people saying that it's not anywhere near as good as what this thing is doing.
No. I mean, it was quite, been playing Warzone in the Gap channel. People have been using it, like using the noise suppression on Discord. And it is quite good, like better than nothing at all. And like Basil JB or one of the boys was using it, and like I think there was mowing going on outside, and like they turn it off and you could fucking hear it. It was like they were fucking mowing in their office, and then they turn it back on again, and you're like, okay, fair enough. But at other times you could still hear like a kid wailing in the background and stuff. Sure. So it's
yeah. Anyway, so we're recording with it on at the moment. If it starts screwing with things, then I guess next we'll go back to normal. But I don't know.
Yeah,
it seems okay for this time being.
Yep.
Anyway, should we talk about some video games? What do we got here? Antimatter Dimensions. This is a game you talked about last week.
Oh yeah.
You still going?
I've gone eternity. I've gone so much further than you could possibly imagine.
Right. So this is the idle game.
Yep, this is the idle game that you're making dimensions, and then you're making infinite dimensions, and then you're making eternal dimensions, and the dimensions make antimatter, and the infinite dimensions make more dimensions, and the eternal dimensions make more infinite dimensions in that traditional cascading way that everyone loves out of their clicker games. The tiers, everything keeps getting wilder and wilder. I did run into a pretty big trough, I feel, at the, I guess, midpoint of the week so I think I'd just broken out of a pretty, I don't know, rough point last week. So it had been sort of slow going for a little while.
Yeah.
And then I got out of it and things had started to pick up again, but I very quickly ran into another one again, where it was just long periods of inactivity. But then after that, not that long, maybe 2 days after that began, it's now more active than it's ever been before. And like just sitting here, leaving it go while podcasting feels like a extremely inefficient use of my time in terms of Antimatter Dimensions playing.
All right.
Although
you could just have
it's
one
a
finger
highly-
sitting on the max button, right? While you're
No,
podcasting.
it's too active. It's more active than just holding on max, unfortunately. Yeah, I've got way too. And also, by the way, Luke, you don't hold on the. You know, you can like, you bring it up, right, and then if you hold on the max button and flick it, it stays on.
Right. Does it?
So, yeah, my max is on at
I
all
don't know
times right now.
What do you mean you flick it?
So,
Oh,
okay,
my
this
game.
is riveting.
Mine just a bit crunched. Yeah.
See how it's on, and you
Yeah.
drag my finger away, and it stays on.
I don't. Is that an upgrade or something?
No, it's by default. It's supposed to replicate the concept of the auto clicker. It's something that built into the mobile version of the game because you can't get an auto clicker because there's no actual.
What do you mean
clicking.
what do you mean you flick it?
This is, honest to God, the worst radio of all time. But right, watch, right, just fucking look, okay?
Yeah.
Off.
What screen are you on?
Hold it. I'm just on the default screen. It doesn't fucking matter, right? You pick a screen, then you flick it. It's still on. That's it. Drag it across. Drag your finger across quickly. Yeah.
But when I go back to the other screen, it's off now.
Don't go back to the other screen.
But I can't see. I can't see what's happening.
What the fuck do you need to see? Do you want to fucking auto max or do you just want to? Oh my lord. Here I am giving you the magic, and you're like, oh, but it doesn't do this. It's a fucking auto clicker. If you had an auto clicker, you wouldn't be able to switch screens and shit.
You should start on the other screen and then swipe to the other way.
Yes, or you can try to swipe in the opposite direction, but it's a little bit trickier, and you are still clearly mastering the basics. So let's take it baby steps, shall we?
Right. So it's a hidden feature, obviously. That was never explained anywhere.
Correct. No.
What a joke.
It's a hidden feature.
What a joke. I know I can't upgrade. As soon as I press the button, it disappears. Anyway, that's stupid. I'll just keep my finger there. It's easier.
It is objectively not, but whatever.
No, because if I reset, then it kills it. And I need to reset.
Yeah. So you just do it again.
It's not worth it for me. My game resets all the time.
So where are you up to?
I don't know what is like. How do we measure this?
How much antimatter have you got?
I just reset my game. I just reset it again to Sam.
Reset to do what?
To try and get more, like a dimension shift.
Okay, how many infinity points do you have?
I don't know how to check that.
It should be directly above your antimatter.
Oh, at the moment I got 4.
4 infinity points.
Yeah, because I've been buying stuff.
I have 1 to the power of 257.
I don't know what that
means. 1 and 257 zeros after it.
Yeah,
infinity points.
That's a lot. I have 4
it's
in
quite
the bank.
You have 4 total. You're talking about infinity, right? Not eternity points, right?
Infinity points, yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool.
I've got upgrades. I'm looking for my one that costs 7 points. I'm working my way down the chain.
You are so far in the past for me, and I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. Because I
my
think
game
when
now,
you were talking about it, you were 2 weeks in last week.
Yeah, 100%. Right? I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just I'm just like, it's just you're trying like you're an ant, right? You're an ant.
Remake at the moment.
you're an ant and you're trying to explain, collecting picnic crumbs, and I'm like, I'm eating sandwiches, motherfucker. I don't know what I don't give a fuck about your crumbs. Okay, like it doesn't make any sense. Okay, I am to you, unto you, I am a god, basically. Right. Okay, so just recognize. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. What do you think of Antimatter Dimensions?
Well, I feel like I haven't hit that. Oh, I just leave it running all day.
Itch? Yeah, well, of course. You probably not terribly efficient.
I did just install a one that's on Steam called Firestone Idle RPG, but I've only played it for, it says here 2 hours it's been running, so I've been double idling.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's some efficient idle play.
Yeah, that one's a lot more active though for an idle game.
Right.
I'm checking it a lot.
Then I don't want to hear about it. Yeah. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You're not enjoying Antimatter Dimensions though. Is it too idle?
I guess at this stage, I'm not really doing a lot. I'm sort of just letting it run its course, and then every once in a while, I click a button, and then I buy upgrades. That's it at this stage. And I don't really know what all these numbers are doing. Like, they're very obscure numbers.
Like, are you tempting to complete your achievements and stuff?
I only just found that screen yesterday, so I let it run overnight.
You let what run over at night?
I let one of the achievements, the challenges, sorry. I did a challenge last night, which is buying anything halts your production, gradually coming back over 3 minutes. I still don't know what that means, but I did it.
Right.
And there's about 10 more challenges here.
That one is the most annoying of them, and you're probably better off leaving that one to later. But
I did it.
Well done.
It's finished. Yeah.
I think it's C8, challenge 8.
Yeah.
Is hyperactive and unbelievably annoying.
Cool.
Do you have auto buyers?
I have, I think, all of them. Yes, I've got all of them.
No. Have you done challenge 8?
I can buy.
Or challenge 9? Maybe it's challenge 9. Right. One of them is the worst. Yeah. Anyway, I prestiged basically.
Right.
So I got to a point where I had to start all over again. But you keep all your achievements and all your the related bonuses. And so I passed where you're up to before I even realized I had done it. It was extremely quick. But I had to do that one challenge, C9 again, C8, C9, one of those two. And it was very upsetting. It was very annoying. Yeah. Anyway, Antimatter Dimensions. It's a good clicker game. I like it.
Yep. Cool.
Yep.
What else do we have here? Split or Steal. You're back on this one. This is a free-to-play Steam game, right?
Yeah, I'm not back on it. I don't think I've ever played it before.
Well, you played a variation of this.
Have I? I mean, I guess it's not. It's not entirely uncommon a concept. It is, based on the prisoner's dilemma. Split or Steal is a game where, you basically you're matched up with another person. You're both given an option: split or steal. If both of you split, you both get the money. If one of you steals, then that person gets. If you both split, then you get half the money each. If one of you steals, then you get the person who steals gets all of the money, and the person who didn't gets nothing.
Yeah.
And if both of you steal, nobody gets anything. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole game. There's actually a bit of an idle game in the background of this. So once you make a little bit of money, you can then build out a headquarters, and you can use that headquarters to sort of like generate money in the background while you're not playing and stuff. And then yeah, so you can use that money to buy more stuff. So there's the game, and then there's a bit of an idle game in the background. But I guess so. I played it for a bit, but I found it a little bit one note. I guess, like you just, I don't know, you split or steal. It is what it says on the box. It's entertaining for a little bit, but I don't really see the long term
Yeah.
interest in it.
Yeah.
I guess like there's, it's sort of, it feels like a mechanic in need of a game. You know, I guess that's why they got the idle game in the background. But like when I have encountered this concept before, which I utterly adore, generally it is tied to something a little bit more robust. You know, I'm thinking like Kane and Lynch 2's multiplayer,
Sure. Yeah.
where you know at the end of the heist, you could opt to kill your teammates to steal all the money from them as well, right?
Yep.
And you'd get away with everything. And in this sense, Splinter Steel does a better job of actually giving you something to do with the money because Kane Lynch 2 never really did. But in the other, in another sense, the mere act of talking to a person for 2 minutes and then deciding whether or not to split a steal, and you talk. I didn't voice communicate with anyone. I only typed. Yeah, it does. It just doesn't. I don't know. It's not enough for me, right? I went through and one entire. I got like to round 10. There's you play for 10 rounds, and that gets you the maximum amount of money. And yeah, I played through it, and by like rounds 5, people weren't even talking anymore. It was just literally just automatically split. So I'd be writing out, "Oh, hi, I'm going to split," and then before I'd even finish typing, and I don't type slowly, they'd have already split. Like they'd already locked in their move, and you can't see what their move is until you know it's decided. But yeah, they'd have locked it in, and then bang, I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I'll split, and I hit split, and that's what it is. And yeah, so by round 8, I was just doing the same thing. I just auto split. And it seems like that's how it would play out ultimately. Like if the only goal at the end is to acquire the most amount of money, then I would say the most efficient way to do that is for everyone to auto split as fast. There's no need to discuss it. There's no need to talk through it. It is simply a case of let's go. We got places to be. Hot dog stands to build, and yeah, that's very quickly what it turned into in my experience. And I guess the thing is, I'm coming into it at what version 1.7. So it's been out for a while. I don't know when it was first released, but yeah, it's been out for a while, and so there's a chance that I'm coming in too late. Release date 1st of February 20. Okay, well, never mind. I don't feel like I'm coming in that late. But yeah, like I don't know. It's like I'm not. It just seems like there's a meta, and now that like because I understand the meta, there just doesn't seem like there's that much to do. So I sort of I didn't sour on it. I just sort of there's not much reason to play it. The idle game in the background doesn't really add that much to it either. Like you're gaining money to gain more money to gain more money, which I guess is the idle always the case in the idle games. But it doesn't look like there's I think I'm playing Antimatter Dimensions because I want to see where it goes next. Like every time I think I've gotten to the end, I've reached infinity antimatter. It grows, it changes in some way, and it warps out, and the part of the game I'm up to now is dramatically different from the part of the game that I was at where you're up to or where you'll go next. Like that's doesn't appear to be the case in Split or Steel. It's a simplistic idle game that simply earns you currency, in-game currencies, so you can buy cosmetics. So yeah, it doesn't really fulfill that need either, I suppose. I just need an actual game. Like if all I can think about is if Plunder, right, in Warzone, sorry, Call of Duty Plunder, like at the end, it put you in a gulag, right? The winning team got dumped in a gulag fight, and whoever won it, like, won the whole thing. Or you could opt to just let the time run out, and everyone gets their money.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting, like use
Social
of this
experiment.
concept. Exactly, right? Like it'd be the exact same as Split or Steel, but it would be like with the active game portion that I think I require for it to be interesting enough and to not simply devolve into, because like in that, right, there's actual, the risk reward in Split or Steal is pretty simplistic. The risk is obviously that the other person will steal, but all they will get is double the money, and they also get negative karma. And negative karma shows up for other players,
So they can
and
see.
is by round 8, I think it anonymizes, so you can't see the karma situation, but you can sort of tell, like based on what they're wearing and stuff. Well, not really what they're wearing. It's just more, if they've got like lots and lots of shiny shit, it feels a little like risky. But like earlier on, it doesn't matter. Like you can tell. So yeah, like, and you only earn double. So the karma, the negative karma you get is significantly more. So the positive karma you get for splitting is about 1/10 of the negative karma you get for stealing. So if you were to steal right at the end, you would get such a huge hit of negative karma that it would take you forever to fucking undo that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, your most efficient way to play is to just split at all times as fast as possible. Split, split, split. Meanwhile, if it were, if Plunder finished in the gulag, the risk, right, would be that, maybe the other person doesn't know, or maybe the other person just wants the money. You don't always win at Plunder. Winning at Plunder is pretty tricky. And it takes a while, and so yeah, there's quite a lot at stake. The stakes are pretty high. The stakes just aren't high enough in Split or Steel for it to the risk reward to really play out. The reward for splitting as fast as possible is greater than the risk of anyone stealing at any point in time. Yeah. So I've kind of stopped playing it. It's a very interesting game. It's just, yeah, sort of one note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Moving on. Let's go with the Division 2, Warlords of New York. So I've been playing the Division 2 for quite a while now. With my wife, we've been running through and doing the original game. And we managed to get to the end of the main campaign, and have now moved on to the first expansion for the game, which dropped quite recently, within the last couple of weeks. And Warlords of New York puts you back in New York, so the scene of the Division, the original game. It's not the same area; it's the lower portion of Manhattan. So I think it's sort of towards the financial district around there.
Right.
And yeah, it's really good. It kind of look like it. You immediately notice the difference between the environments of Washington D.C. and what you kind of expect New York to be. And they've done a really good job of, I guess, learning about environmental design in 2 and sort of bringing that back into what New York is. And what I mean by that is like um, adding a lot more verticality and stuff like that to the environment. The Division 1 felt like you could kind of run down any street and it sort of looked the same, like one street to another. But you'll get into a street here and there's scaffolding put up and there's a giant crack in the middle of the road that is sort of pushed the ground apart, and there's pipes sort of laid out in between the roads, and it's not like a flat area anymore. There's things around it that are sort of making it be a bit more curvy, I guess. And so that's one of the first things I noticed about the level design, is that they seem to have taken that idea that they did in Washington, which was make it a bit more open. You've got these areas where it's sort of going up and down all the time. It's just like flat ground everywhere you go, which is really cool. So I appreciate that they've really, even though you're going back to somewhere sort of an area you've already been to before, they've really elevated the look of it and how it feels, which is really cool. And so I guess the basic premise of this one is that you're going after the first rogue agent of the Division, who was an antagonist of the first Division, and he has a bunch of sort of like lieutenants that have taken over certain areas of the city, and it's pretty open in terms of where you can go in these 4 new areas they've got in New York. So you can kind of pick which lieutenant you want to go after, and it sets off like a series of missions, and it's like a I don't know, like a scavenger hunt thing where you're learning about them, and it's sort of feeding you into a certain area that you have to go and complete a mission. And then it'll be like, all right, now you've got to go, you've found the clue, now you've got to go to this part and solve this next part. So it's definitely a lot different to the sort of the gameplay mechanics that are in the actual Division 2 game. It's sort of a bit more like detective work, or going into areas and sort of searching a specific location, completing a task, and then moving on to the next bit. There's definitely still like set main missions that you're going and doing, but it's like a different type of vibe to it. On top of that, they've still got a lot of the side missions that are there, like your propaganda towers, control points, that sort of stuff. It feels a lot more like contained or squished. It doesn't feel like it's as open as what Washington was with that sort of stuff. Like it was sort of out in sporadic pieces, like these things you can go out and do. But this feels like every time you turn a corner, there's like a side mission happening. I don't know if that's a good thing. It just feels like there's a lot going on in such a small area.
Yeah.
Like a packed area. Like they could have made the game world a bit bigger, or at least lessen some of those control points. Like, because we finished one particular zone, and then we're like, let's just clear the rest of it. It felt like we only explored half of it at this stage. So then we started walking around, did a bunch of the control points, propaganda towers, all that sort of stuff, and eventually, I guess, liberated them all, or whatever you do. And then, we basically had the option to go and choose the next story mission. But I don't know if we weren't supposed to do that. Maybe it'll come back to later on, like some more endgame stuff that kind of happens, or it'll send us back down that area later on for another mission. We just kind of felt like, oh, we haven't explored this bit. Might as well go check it out and see what's going on. But for the most part, like, it seems pretty cool. You kind of dump in your character from the Division 2, depending on where you're at. During the Division 2, once you got to endgame, you started having these world tier levels, and that basically meant that it would reset the world. It'd make everybody a lot tougher. They threw in different types of enemies at you. A new faction sort of came in and takes over the landscape. So you start seeing things like robots sort of scouring the area, or guys with like really heavy armor on them, and you can go replay the original missions, and it would actually change up the way you could play those missions as well. Like it'd throw different enemy types at you. You'd have different encounters during those missions. Like it wouldn't be the same. There'd be a different, like, it's not like you can kind of memorize and be like, oh, I did this one last time, I kind of know what I'm in for. It's like, no, they throw the different enemies at you. They come at you at different times, or like there won't be a fight in the original mission in this specific spot, but then you get to this next level and there's, a bunch of guys in this location now that previously weren't there. And so once you finished a bunch of those levels, you go do your what were they called? Can't remember at the end of them. They're kind of like the layers that each faction sort of had. You go clear them out, and then once you did a couple of those, you could then elevate the world tier, and there was a bunch of different world tiers you can get through. And so you could take that character, put them into the Warlords of New York expansion, and that would let you go through it. If you didn't have a character that you can transfer across to Warlords, you can do like a character boost as well. So if you haven't played the game in a while, or you never ended up finishing the Division 2, you can just go to this specific part of the map that you need to go to. It'll boost your character. It'll give you the weapons that you, like a basic set of weapons that you can use to take across with you, and you'll be ready to go. So it's, it's pretty seamless in terms of what you can, if you want to just jump in and check it out, then it's pretty easy to go do that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm still digging that game a lot. My wife really likes it. She's quite glad we were playing this as opposed to a different type of MMO, like WoW or something like that, or Star Wars, because that was on the list. But yeah, she's really liking this a lot, and having a lot of fun.
Why is that?
She wanted, I don't know,
why is she preferring this to like a different
MMO? She just didn't really want to play a fantasy MMO or something like that, and she wanted to play a shooter. And I was like, we can try a Division. It's sort of like a mix between MMO and a shooter that you kind of want. And yeah, she's hooked. She really likes it. Yeah, and they've been updating this game a lot. Like there's a bunch of different changes in there. There's a couple of different specialization weapons that you can get now. I don't remember if you got to the end game of Division 2. No. Once you get there, they give you a bunch of weapons that you can unlock. So it's kind of like your two abilities, your Q and E.
Oh yeah, no, I unlocked the sniper rifle in the beta.
So there was the sniper rifle, there was a crossbow, and a grenade launcher. Now there's 3 other ones. There's like a rocket launcher, some sort of rocket launcher. There's a flamethrower, and I think some type of machine gun, like a chain gun or something like that. But each one of these also has like a skill tree or a tier that you can kind of get points and unlock even more specialization options for your character. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff there. They're doing like weekly bounties, and there's different types of game modes in there that I haven't even touched yet. But it seems like they've done a really good job of doing this this service for this game. Like they've kind of rolled out a bunch of free updates for a year, and this is the first paid expansion. It was like $25 or something like that. You can jump in and play it for if you want to check it out. But otherwise, like, you can still play the original content and do all that sort of stuff, all the multiplayer modes that are in there, your death matches and that sort of thing. So yeah, I feel like it's been well worth my money at this stage for that game. I really like it. I'm interested to sort of see where they go next, because it's obviously a super popular game for them. It's done really well. I'm just curious, like, do they stay in New York, or do they go somewhere else? Sorry, do they stay in the US, so they go somewhere else? I don't think they can do like England or Britain or anywhere like that, because that's kind of being done with Watch Dogs, right? And so where do you go from here? Is it somewhere in Europe or
Singapore or something, right?
So yeah, some sort of Asian country. There's always been talk about like Assassin's Creed going to like Japan or somewhere like that. And so
Division in Tokyo would be pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
I just I wonder what, you know, coronavirus does to their to the division, how that impacts the division, because, you know, by the time we're through to the other side of this shit,
Yeah.
I think the world is going to have a different view on a game where a virus wipes out a fuck ton. Yeah, right. Like I don't know if it's going to be the sort of subject like that I can just sort of have a game about for a little while.
Well, that's the interesting
Yeah.
thing, right? Is that we started playing this a couple months back. We've sort of been playing every weekend for a couple hours, and sort of getting into this stage where we're at the moment, and like going through like audio logs or echoes and like hearing people talking about this sort of stuff that is like happening right now is really weird.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But anyway, like if you haven't checked it out yet and you liked the Division 2, yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to experience, like go back and check it out. I know that my wife wants to jump in and check out some PvP in the Dark Zone because we haven't done any of that. They sort of changed the way that you're introduced to that at this stage.
Right.
Like there used to be a mission involved that you can go and do, and it'd be like, hey, this is how you do the PvP stuff. But I don't think that's in there now, or they've changed it the way it sort of introduces you to that. But yeah, I don't know. We might go check that out at some stage. But otherwise, pretty content with just playing through the single player stuff. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So that's my Division 2. It's really good. I'm digging it.
Cool.
What else we got here? Call of Duty.
I don't know. Call of Duty?
Warzone.
Yeah, exclusively Warzone. I'm not playing anything else. I'm not playing the fucking other modes in Call of Duty. I don't care. I'm never doing it. I get very tempted when I see videos like I don't know if you saw on our in our Discord channel,
Right.
but Grey Squirrel shared a video of Jack Frag's video where he's got these two revolvers with fucking that fire shotgun shells, and they're fucking disgusting. That's some revolting shit. But so I get tempted to just, you know, queue up some fucking 24/7 Rust and just grind out some levels on the fucking revolvers so I can have my shield and those two guns, because that seems like the trolliest horse shit of all time. But I'm still never doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like the fucking regular multiplayer in that game. So yeah, Warzone exclusively.
Did we talk about last week the cheaters that we ran into that we got shot through?
No, because that hadn't happened yet. Hadn't happened yet.
Right.
No, but yeah, that did happen since the last time. So that was it can't have been then. 20th? That's not it. That's not it. Hang on, I'm just trying to find. It was fucking magical though. Hang on. Which day?
I don't think I saved it, but
I did. The 18th it happened, so it hadn't happened yet. And yeah, so we were playing Saturday morning. I think it must have been.
Right.
And
it was because we were wondering why nobody else was fucking up at that stage.
Yeah, it was weird
because we played the 6 hours of Warzone. I was like, where is everyone?
We fucking played forever and nobody fucking joined in. It was pretty odd. But yeah, we were doing Shieldy Boys, and yeah, we were queuing into trios, which wasn't popping in Australia. So we got queued into Southeast Asia, and yeah, just rolling around, being Shieldy Boys, doing our Shieldy Boy thing. I don't know if have we explained the Shield Boy thing? Maybe. You get shields, right? I went back on Twitter. I went back on Twitter and I had a squiz. And the day after Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone came out, I tweeted, how are you going to leave riot shields in Warzone Infinity Ward? That's ridiculous. The day after, I called that this shit was going to be fucking ridiculous. but nobody believed me. I got conned into doing other things, conned into going for rocket launches and all this kind of stuff. I was first, right? I was first on the scene, rocking shields, because they were fucking disgusting. I'm certain I talked about it in our first week. The first week we spoke about the game on the podcast. I talked about how gross they were. But anyway, I'm back on it. Somebody made a video or something, some YouTuber made a video, and 2 months after I said it, and now everyone's like, "Oh, shields! Oh, let's do shields." Whatever, it's fine. I'm not bitter about it. But now that everyone's on the shield meta, I'm back on shield meta. I love being a shield boy, and so we got EOD. We've got so our perks EOD. We go. What's the second one? Is the restock. Where you auto get your utilities back.
Yeah, it's like a countdown on it. I don't know how long it is, but you kind of throw utilities out and then
not that
eventually
long.
comes back. Yeah.
It is not that long. It's maybe 15, 20 seconds. I don't know. It's short enough that you can chuck out a lot of fucking stuff. And the third perk is quick switching weapons. And so basically I call that in. Nate and Tom had this system going where they were like, I guess they'd buy a drop and then they'd go get the random drop. And the first buy would have overkill so they could have their favorite gun and a shield. And then the second buy would have would swap out overkill for just a pistol or whatever, and add in restock so they could have their favorite gun plus shields plus restock. So effectively you get all the benefits of the overkill, but it's $20,000, and all I do is I just go straight for the default. I just go straight for the restock one. I use whatever fucking gun I've got at hand. And if I don't have a good gun at hand, I've got a pistol that I don't hate. So I'll just fucking use that until I find an SMG. And yeah, so we've been shielding it up. It's very simple. You roll around with the shield out. When you're running somewhere, you put it on your back so you can't be shot from behind. When you think you're going into enemy territory or where people might be, you whip it out in front of you and you just sort of fucking stare at them, and they'll shoot into the shield and then realize they're not doing any damage, and they'll just sort of look at you. It's pretty funny. Yes, last week when... Hang on, can you hear right now? Could you hear the plane? Could you?
I can't, no.
Fucking amazing! Oh!
We'll see what happens when the Audacity
we
kicks in.
We will. But still, it didn't look like it was spiking on Audacity, so that's bananas. Anyway, yeah, you got your shield. People can't shoot through it. It just blocks incoming damage. You got EOD so that it takes two very good fucking C4s to actually down you, and a slight miss. If you can get the shield between yourself and the fucking blast, it takes 3 fucking C4s to kill you, which is ridiculous. Rockets, It takes 2+ rockets to down you, because they've nerfed the splash on rockets a little bit. Yeah, just basically shields are ridiculous, and they're ripping people up. We were on a Southeast Asian server in trios, rolling around, doing whatever we could, getting into fights, and then yeah.
We noticed in the chat someone was saying like that guy's cheating or something like that. Like there's a lot of people saying someone's cheating. We're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, fuck you, hacker, blah blah blah. And then we're in this fire station at airport, just sort of waiting shit out. And
there's not many people left at this stage.
There's not, the circle's pretty small, and we're waiting to see where things go. And Luke's got his fucking... I've got it on video. Luke's got his back to a wall, his shield in front of him, and bang, he gets shot through the wall. by someone who could not possibly have seen him.
Yeah.
Because you saw the shot and it was more than 50 meters away. So the heartbeat, I mean, spectacular shot if it was a heartbeat anyway, to know that he was upstairs and where he was. But that wasn't it because he was beyond the heartbeat range.
Yeah. And also, like, the hit indicator comes up and shows you. And I, like, turn and the indicator is, like, out the wall. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I just got shot through the wall.
Yeah. Even the impact, like, that came up for me as well. So, like, the sound was directly outside of the wall. So, yeah, Luke's like, oh, I just got shot through the wall. And I'm like, oh, good. Well, there is someone talking about a hacker. So maybe we should be careful. And yeah, to like our good fortune, the circle kept. We basically got blessed by the circle. The circle kept closing in and in on our fire station, and we were just getting luckier and luckier. We were sort of upstairs in one of those fire stations, so there's the two holes that people can throw stuff up through those holes. You can climb up the tower and jump down and go down through the ladder. But because they're hackers and because hackers are fucking morons, they chose to keep trying to come up the fucking stairs. It just wasn't working for them because we just sat there with the shields out, waiting for them to come up, and they'd walk up, they'd have a bit of a punt, they'd go back down. We'd flash the fuck out of them, maybe throw a C4 or two. I'm sure because they're fucking idiots, they had no idea. They were like, oh, well, they're probably out of flashes and C4s by now. Surprise, motherfuckers. We got restock. We got more flashes. We got more C4s. Come on back up. And they tried it again. And eventually, we actually fucking managed to down them. I guess they just figured that their hacks would see them through. But they both locked onto you at the same time, and then so I dropped a stun on them, and they tried to burn you down. I got them to, because we had a good split, right? We had a good crossfire on these stairs, and I fucking ripped them up from my direction. Down both of them. I got down by a flame, like a Molotov or something. I still can't work out how I went down exactly.
Right.
But yeah, I burned, and then they got killed. The chat lit up. People were fucking watching. Like heaps of people were watching. They wanted to see the hacker.
They're like, they're talking about how shields are the counters.
Yeah. So they were like, people were fucking popping off. We were heroes. We were fucking heroes. And then we got killed. We got second place in that game. But we killed the hackers. And then if you go and look at the stats on the stats page, the team that killed us probably had a hacker as well.
Yeah.
As far as I could tell, based on the damage and kills numbers.
Well, the headshot damage kind of gives it away, right?
24 exactly.
Headshots out of 27 kills.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a stage where we knew there was two hackers because I kept strafing in front of the window with my shield up, and every time I did that, I'd immediately get shot at. But they couldn't do anything because I had a shield up, and so they would just automatically just shoot. And the moment that I knew there was a second one is because I started doing it more, and the moment I'd pop out, I'd start getting sprayed as well by someone with a machine gun. And so there's a guy with a sniper rifle doing it, and the machine gun, cool, there's two of them there. That's fun. Yeah, and then you mentioned after that game, like, oh, there was a third cheater in that game.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of hackers. But yeah, it looks like they're taking it extremely seriously. They released some details about what they're doing about hackers. Basically what we said. Clearly, hey, Infinity Ward, I'm glad you listened to our podcast. I still think you need to raise the loadout price a little bit more, put it on an individual basis. Honest to God, I think $6,000 for a loadout drop, if it is single use only, I think that's good. So you should do that. Just acknowledging that you definitely listen to the podcast, because everything you're doing appears to be things we said you should do on the podcast. I'm trying not to read into it. No, what they're doing is they're going to auto match. They're doing the Grand Theft Auto thing where hackers will be put in with hackers, so that we match together. So yeah, all hackers will play against one another. They're going to tell you in game when a cheater has been banned. Now, a cheater you've reported has been banned. It's coming soon. It hasn't happened yet, but coming soon. Report a player to kill cam and spectate is coming, so they're improving that, and obviously additional dedicated security updates. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that impacts the game. Yeah, I know JB was talking about. No, it was Baz. My bad. I don't know. It was very confusing. There was a big chat about hacking in our Discord, like Call of Duty cheating, because I think it impacted a lot of people over the course of the last week. It definitely impacted us significantly. After that game, where like I just started we tried to queue one more into trios, and it was going to take us into SEA again. So I just started queuing into US with you.
Mm-hmm.
We made you the party lead, and we queued that way. We didn't see a hacker while we were playing on US servers. As far as I
haven't
tell,
seen one since. I think that was the last time.
Yeah,
like a blatant.
But SEA is always pretty bad for it. But yeah, Baz was talking about, if there is skill-based matchmaking. I mean, I think that's why we see as many hacks as we do, because skill-based matchmaking puts us in games with better players.
Yeah.
Right, that's what's happening. If you're bad at the game, you're not going to see a lot of fucking hackers. But the better you are, the more hackers you're going to see, because that's how skill-based matchmaking works. And if skill-based matchmaking works the way it does in Call of Duty multiplayer, basic multiplayer, which is that it's based off your last 5 matches, then you're you can deliberately smurf your way out of range of hackers, or you can accidentally smurf your way out of the range of hackers by playing with Grey Squirrel, who's the worst teammate in recorded history, and who will let you die. And if I'm dead, then we're not going to win the game. So yeah, so that's a different way you can go about it. Just play 5 games with Grey Squirrel in your squad, and you'll basically be smurfed down low enough that you don't have to worry about hackers, which is pretty nice. Yeah, there's a lot of transparency that's missing on the concept of skill-based matchmaking. As far as I could tell, Infinity Ward is still claiming that there isn't skill-based matchmaking, despite the it's not obvious, but the very clear clues that it's occurring. Mm-hmm. I believe they're still claiming that it's not happening, which means it's very difficult to confirm exactly how it works. But yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still having fun with Warzone. I'm tilting, and then bringing it back by just playing like meme games. Just
we're doing a lot of running around doing objectives, like keeping busy doing objectives, as opposed to get in the circle and being like, all right, what do we do now?
Yeah. I had a great kill. I was playing with Nate. We're 2-player in trios, and I died really late. We kind of got circle fucked, and then just got fucking jumped on. But I landed basically. So Nate was like picking out what I could do. I could either land on this loadout drop. You could see there was a gunfight happening over the top of this fucking loadout drop. So I basically have to like nearly pancake just to try and get to the fucking thing. Or the alternative was he marked a truck on the other side of the fucking map, And so I could go to the truck, and those were my awesome options. And so I went to the truck instead because I figure I can get the truck and just sort of try and run over cunts. Get there, and there's a dude standing next to it, like just literally just standing next to it. And so I land behind him, and I execute him. Obviously, stab him in the side of the neck, steal the truck, and like 2 other people come running over the hill. And Nate's like, "Oh my god, that guy was supposed to be guarding the truck for them. That guy, and they just got, they have to kill you, or he's going to be pissed." And I ran over one of them, but they managed to, after a lot of shooting, they managed to destroy the truck. And when I got out, it put me on the wrong side. Like I didn't get out because if I'd been able to choose when I got out, I just sort of got booted out. But when I got booted out, if I'd been able to choose, I would have switched seats or something to not get out of the. But I got out on the side where I was getting shot from and minced. But it was very close, and it would have been hyper entertaining if I'd managed to wipe that squad the way that one had run down. But yeah, just doing like dumb shit like that, landing back on your body, and executing people. We got a win with an execute yesterday. Well, I got a win with an execute yesterday, and all it cost me was Luke's life in game. But I was okay with it. It was a price I was glad to pay.
We had a couple of rounds where there was that one that we ended up in that small town, and you were in a truck and just doing laps around the town while 2 teams were fighting each other. And me and Nate were trying to get in on an angle to get them. And then I think you ended up picking Nate up, rolling in, and then just jumping out.
Just fucking leaping out of this fucking, and then bum rushing this dude who was clearly not prepared. I think he thought I was going to do another fucking lap, but we just fucking straight in.
But what happened was you've done that, and I was still making my way into the like little town. So I've jumped through a window, and I'm sort of sitting downstairs this building because I know there's someone above me. And so you're murdering this guy in this other house. He dies, and his teammate jumps out the window to go and help. And so I start killing him while he's running across the road.
Golden.
So we finished that fight. Both these teams are dead, and like immediately I'm hearing gunshots, and you can see them popping up on the map, and 2 other teams have rolled into town, and they're fighting on the hill just outside of the house I'm at. And then so you moved across to the house next to me. Or was that
No, that was Nate. Nate moved across. Yeah. I stayed.
Yeah, and it just became like another fucking 5 minutes worth of fighting these teams.
Like, we were there because there was like a buy spot. Like there was a team there. They just called someone in. We're like, oh, well, we can kill them and steal their money, right? That'll work, and then that'll be fine. And so we did, but we were supposed to like kill them, get their money, and get the fuck out. But we wound up like being there for so long that the circle was literally coming in on us. Did Nate die?
Nate went down because there was that one dude still hiding in the yellow house, and he was waiting for us to use the buy station.
Yeah,
but we got him.
Yeah, golden. That was pretty good. And then we just got repeatedly circle fucked on that one. Every single circle was the opposite side of the circle from us.
Yeah,
and it ended underneath a fucking bridge.
Bridge, yeah. But then the game gave us our second chance under the bridge.
A second under the bridge chance. Yeah. So that game. Where did we start? Prison? Did we start prison in that game?
I don't think so.
I think so. Yeah, we started prison.
Dam? I think we started at Dam and we worked our way all the way around because you.
No, I'm talking about the win, the victory.
Oh, the win. Might have been prison, yeah.
Yeah, the one you were talking about was definitely a dam drop.
Yeah.
Was it a dam drop or were we fucking about in a helicopter?
Yeah, we went to TV station, picked up the helicopter, then went down.
Yeah.
There was another 2 teams there. you were just doing laps in the truck on ice or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was doing loops and loops because we were we late? I don't know what the fuck it was. Like by the time we got to Dam, like the fire station and stuff had already been looted. We're like, oh, all right, this is not the best start. And we're like, oh, we'll take the truck and go across the other fucking side. We get across.
I think
the
they
other
stole
side.
a helicopter and then crashed.
The helicopter? No, they didn't steal it. The helicopter from below Dam. They took that and then started chasing me, and they were fucking pounding into me, and they crashed into the fucking hill, which was great because I didn't have any guns. I think I had like a fucking revolver and the starting pistol, and I managed to get geared up off them. But I still wasn't like I didn't have any armor because they shredded my armor, and
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'll just stay in the truck, and then looped around that fucking. But no, the win. We started at prison. We grabbed that chopper, and that fucking dude. We got a bounty in prison, and this dude, fucking hell. He was on the escalator. He was a gulag respawn who literally just stayed, like, popped his parachute and then just sat at the fucking top of the fucking zone until we flew our chopper over, and then he fucking parachute. It was very fucking tricky. I was very it was a good move. I was very grumpy though, and so we went over to go fuck him because fuck him, and yeah, like they were lighting up the fucking chopper. You got shot out of it, and you crated on impact. I jumped out when you got shot out. I jumped out because I didn't think we were high enough that you were going to crater on impact, but we absolutely were. So I jumped out because I figured I'd go help you. Nate salvaged the fucking chopper, came and picked me back up again, and we then had to like make our way to the loadout drop. Look at our shields. We worked our way through docks. We were like, we did not get like good circle on that either. We had another bounty down at docks that we were chasing, but by the time we got down there, we'd sort of run out of time. We didn't get good. Like the circle was shifting pretty far away from us most of that time as well, because it was prison wasn't on the edge of the circle when we landed there.
I thought it was just.
No, it was it was far from the. It was a long drop because nobody came with us, right?
Somebody did show up and steal a helicopter. Was that game?
Stole the top. Yeah, that was the Gulag respawn. Stole the top chopper, but we still had our bottom chopper. So
yeah.
We Oh, and I missed that guy, right? I missed the guy right at the start by flying into the fucking trees, which was a bit hairy, but we got away with it. Okay.
Yeah. He was shooting me that time.
Gold. Well, it was the best he could do. But yeah, so we got into a couple of fights trying to make our way through docks. And then, like, suddenly, out of nowhere, there were like, was it six teams left and 5 other players or something like that? No, can't that. Yeah,
I think there was a duo and a bunch of singles. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, oh my god, and we're like, all 3 of us are still up, and it's like,
is that game to lose?
Well, it really was, and like me and Nate had our shields, we had restock. We found some dude in the fucking fuel station who just got fucking double stunned, and like didn't really have any options. He just didn't have anything he could do really about us. He was in the fuel. You said you were like, oh, here's someone. They just opened the door. So I'm like, okay, cool. Fucking go on in with the fucking shield up. I do quiet door opens all the time now.
Peak doors, yeah.
Yeah, peek, and then you walk into it, and it opens a lot quieter than the slam. Yeah, wander in, and there he is, putting plates in, and I got my shield up. I'm like,
start bashing.
I chucked a stun. I did bash him a couple of times, and then we moved through there. The other teams, did we kill him? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't think I didn't do a lot of fucking damage in that game.
I mean, there was one dude that was trying to get into the circle, and we kind of kept him pinned behind a pole, like a light pole.
Blacked him.
I think he ended up
Yep.
dying to the circle. That's my biggest issue with the sort of kill cam or the kill feed in the game. It's really hard to tell when people in the game are dying or like when your teammates have knocked people. It's just in a weird spot. You don't notice it.
Yeah.
I just wish it'd be like the HUD would be just display better information as what's going on with your team, because so many times like I just don't know when people are getting knocked on my team or when people have been knocked by my teammates. It's just I don't think it relays that stuff very well.
Yeah, no, there's like I'm in two minds about that because I don't know if that information is something everyone should have necessarily, or how widespread that. Like maybe there shouldn't be any kill feed at all,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, like this middle ground that it's got isn't good, in my opinion. It should have it should be either a very good kill feed, which it isn't, in which case it should give you a lot of information, or there should be no kill feed at all. It shouldn't be this it's just a bad kill feed type thing. Yeah.
I think it's just maybe where it's at in the game. Like it's sort of in the middle on the left. I'm just not used to looking in that spot. It's in a weird area. Like generally,
but it gives inconsistent information as well.
Hmm.
Did you hear that fart?
No.
Wow, this technology is amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, still having fun with Warzone. I'm sure we'll keep talking about it. Hopefully they can sort out this cheating problem soon.
Yep.
I'm sure they've said they've got ideas, but they're not going to talk about a lot of that stuff yet. There might be things we do hear about, but for the most part, generally they keep that stuff to themselves. When does that roll out? That new update, is it tomorrow or something? Or did they just say coming soon?
I think that was
just starting this week.
Yeah. Starting this week. I don't know.
Cool. I guess we'll see. See what happens with that. Anyway.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Next up, we got Griftlands.
Griftlands. Griftlands is a deck building roguelite. Which I guess we fucking love.
Yeah.
We love that shit. And so it's a deck building roguelite. It's available on the Epic Games Store. It's reasonably priced. It's quite well priced, if I recall correctly. So if I can go to the store page. Go to the store page. Go Epic. $12.74. It's from Cly Entertainment, the people behind Shank. It's got that sort of that art style that I think I associate with Shank. I really liked Shank's art style and the co-op version of its gameplay. It's basically it takes the deck building roguelite concept where you start off and you're slowly building out this deck of cards, and it wraps it in story-based RPG style stuff, which I think is a really interesting concept. So it builds out the story elements significantly. You're basically this bounty hunter, essentially, or merc. You're in this town. You do odd jobs, and they're the sorts of jobs that you expect from thugs. Like go get this guy to pay his debt, or go escort this guy to a market and make sure no monsters kill him, or that kind of stuff. Bodyguard, muscle type work. And yeah, it's a game about building your deck out and uncovering the story, and you got sold into slavery, and you managed to buy your way out or earn your way out, and I think you're supposed to get revenge on the person who sold you into slavery in the first place. It's cool, right? Like, it's what makes it different is it really fleshes out the story, like it really elaborates on that stuff. And it even goes so far as to you've got 2 decks. So you've got one deck, which is your combat deck, and then you've got another deck, which is your argument deck or your negotiation deck. And so it actually it turns dialogue into part of the game where you can actually like argue with people. And so the one where you're supposed to go get a dude to pay some money, right? He owes some guy money, he needs to pay it. You can go and you can rough him up using the combat deck, or you can use your negotiation deck and just convince him to do it. And it's a very cool twist on the concept. Like it takes a different spin, a different tack, because it means you've got to concentrate on 2 different areas, right? Like instead of just fleshing out the one deck, you got 2, and you need to sort of keep them balanced. You need to keep both of them in mind while you're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
It also gives you a couple of different options while you're playing. So you might have fuck all health, but you've got a lot of I can't remember. It's like concentration or something. You've got like concentration is let's say your health, like your HP for negotiations is concentration. I don't think it's called concentration. I can't 100% correct. I don't remember. But yeah, so you might have 30 of that, but only 10 health left. And maybe in that case, instead of trying to fight, you just try to fucking negotiate your way out and see if you can do it that way. And it's like it's a very interesting take on the idea. I think as a deck building roguelite game, like when I think about those games, when I think about what kind of game that implies, right? Obviously, I'm thinking Slay the Spire and more recently Monster Train, right? And I think in the sense that it is entering a realm similar to those 2 games, I think it's in a difficult position, right? Because it is much more story driven, and I think story driven doesn't always mesh well with roguelites, right? Because I think there's an element of speed, right? About roguelites, you want to get through a run so you can start the next run quickly. Like or more ideally, I suppose, finish the current run with a victory. But like, yeah, you don't want to be sitting there reading a lot of dialogue and learning a bunch of stuff that is peripheral to the actual information that you need to. We talk about this all the time, right? The idea of a roguelite is that progression is in the player themselves a lot of the time. It's player progression or player knowledge progression is as important as actual progression. So when you're playing Dead Cells, obviously you're earning more cells, and the cells allow you to unlock certain mutations or upgrades from the blacksmith and blah, 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 blah. Right. And you don't want to die because you'll lose all your cells. You want to bank the cells, blah, blah, blah. Right. But the other thing you're gaining as you play, even if you die and lose all your cells, you also gain information. So next time you'll know that, the scorpion will always pop out of the ground and shoot a dart, right? Every single fucking time. That's what it does, right? Or the bow dudes will not start their wind up until they've seen you, which means that if you're close enough, they will never fucking hit you. That sort of thing, like or your 3-hit combo on a certain weapon will always kill something outright. That sort of information, that knowledge, is vital to your growth as a player in a roguelike, whatever the fuck, right? And then you carry that across to Slay the Spire, and you know that if you play as the defect, the way you want it, like you want to build out as many orbs as you can, or something like that, right? Like that, and you're particularly weak, or you'll build if it's got a lot of fucking lightning is particularly weak against enemies with armor because you can't do a lot of damage very quickly, and so you got to wait that armor out, that sort of thing, or plate armor rather. Taking a monster train, right? And you know that eventually you're going to come up against Seraph, and Seraph is going to do something that's going to tick you over. And the first time you encounter it will almost definitely shaft you. But the next time you'll know, right? And so when you see the Seraph you're facing this time is going to negate your spells, right? You know that means that when you get there, all of your spells will be consumed. And so that means that you, along the way, you need to either build into your play the ability to negate consume, or take advantage of consume, get relics that use, like, every time you consume, do 20 damage, stuff like that, or not get any fucking spells. Concentrate on things other than spells, right? You need to, but that as a player, right? That's something you've learned. That's your player progression, is that you've grown as a player and learned that. And the way that you learn that or the way that I learned that a lot of the time is the quick run, right? I will run through and slam my head into it until it fucking finally sticks. I feel like Griftlands doesn't really, I don't know, play to that style of play necessarily, and that doesn't make it bad. It just makes it different. It makes it like an adjustment that I got to make, right? It's a mental adjustment that I need to make to play the game the way it is. But I just wanted to, because when we spoke to Mark about Monster Train,
yeah.
He was saying, he didn't want people to call it a deck building tower defense, right? But you can't leave a description of Monster Train at deck building roguelite either, because deck building roguelite has been essentially defined, right? Slay the Spire is the definitive, in the literal sense, definitive deck building roguelite now, right? Which means that you can't just call something a deck building roguelite without them assuming it's very similar to Slay the Spire.
Sure.
When Monster Train isn't very similar to Slay the Spire, and Griftlands isn't very similar to Slay the Spire, right? They both very clearly share similarities, a lot of similarities, but they're very different in some pretty critical ways. I would say that Griftlands is more like Hand of Fate, right? Like Hand of Fate is that game by Defiant. That was like a RPG, a card game RPG with combat, right? Griftlands doesn't have combat in the same sense, but it is far more RPG than it is rogue game, because the RPG elements take that much more of a precedence, are that much more important. And like I said, it doesn't make it bad. Maybe it's more like Hollow Knight and Dead Cells, right? Griftlands is sort of the Hollow Knight to Slay the Spire's Dead Cells, in that Slay the Spire, there is definitely story, but it doesn't really fucking matter, and you're in it for the very tight gameplay. whereas Hollow Knight has tight gameplay, but you're sort of in it for the story in a lot of ways. And yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I don't know. I haven't played fuck tons of Griftlands. I haven't actually finished a run yet because that's the other thing, right? Like, I guess what I'm getting at is it takes a lot longer to finish a run. But yeah, I think I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's really, really well priced. And I think it's definitely worth checking out because it's such an interesting, the negotiation deck alone, I think, makes it such an interesting fucking twist on the game concept. So yeah, check that one out. Griftlands. It's on Epic Game Store. I believe it's coming to Steam as well, but it's not on Steam yet, so you'll have to wait it out if you're waiting for Steam. It's only an alpha or I don't know, early access, I guess, is what we call it elsewhere. But
yeah, nice.
Try it out.
Yeah, I've been playing a bunch of Monster Train. Last couple of days, I got my first win, my first completion run. Unlocked all the decks. All the cards in the deck that I was doing.
Cool.
Yeah, that game's
send me a challenge.
Very good. Yeah, I'll have to have a look. I'll talk to you after it because there's stuff we can't talk about. But
sure.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Last one, Final Fantasy VII Remake is on here still. I finished it. So yeah, I was pretty close to finishing it last week. I only had a couple of fights left, it turned out, so it wasn't too far off. Yeah, I still really like that game. I think it does some really interesting stuff. I guess if we want to go into spoilers, we could.
Yes.
I think our thoughts are
I've been waiting fucking weeks. We're doing spoilers. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Spoilers for what? 15 minutes?
Really?
We'll reconvene in 15 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah. So skip ahead 15 minutes and we will try to update you in 15 minutes if we need to. So spoilers begin now for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Are you fucking nuts? You still like this game? You played all of that game, including the last nightmare of 3 hours, the fucking train wreck of the last 3 hours, and you're still like, yeah, I still like that game. It's a good game.
The only bits I didn't like was the towards the end. I don't like the motorbike stuff. I don't like keeps putting on a fucking motorbike every time. It's so dumb. The game.
That's fucking most of the ending. Holy shit. Holy shit. You know, like I have realized to some extent that I have no idea how long the end of that game is. Because sometimes I think back about what happened in it. I'm like, I think the ending of that game must have been about 4 minutes long, right? Because what happens? Nonsense for 4 minutes, right? And then I think back at other times. I'm like, the end of that game, I think the last portion of that game, after you finally you get your two parties back together, right? After switching between them so that you can hit some fucking triangle buttons for 40 fucking seconds over and over again. After doing that, which is obviously riveting gameplay, yeah, once you finish doing that, and I would say after that portion is the end. Yeah, I think it's about 40 hours long, because when I think about what happened from that point on, it's like time stopped, and I just spiraled downwards, going absolutely insane, trying to work out why the fuck it just wouldn't fucking end. But and then I switched back. I'm like, oh, I think it's only about 3 hours long. And then I don't know. I think there's about actually 2 hours a game after that portion in question. That's my most genuine guess is 2 hours.
From where? From you saying
after.
after the Shinra fight in the tower?
That's when you reconvene. Yeah, I'd say it's 2 hours from fighting Rufus Shinra. Rufus? Yeah, Rufus. Yeah, Rufus. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. It felt
You
pretty
fight
quick to me. Like
Rufus.
you do the motorbike and then you fight the big boss, right?
Yeah.
Or the two big bosses.
What is it? Yeah. So you've got Rufus, and then you've got two big bosses.
You got the
right?
motorbike, and then you do the giant fate thing. It's like spawning all the little minions. You fight them, and then you do the Sephiroth fight.
Yeah. So 3 big fights. Then
I don't think it was 3 hours. It didn't take me 3 hours.
I said 2 hours.
I don't think
3
it took
hours
me 2
was my
hours.
facetious run. You got to sit around while fucking Sephiroth yaps, teleports you to fucking space like he's fucking Dr. Manhattan or some shit, and then fucking yaps at you fucking 40 minutes. Oh, I'll tell you what, Cloud, blah, 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 blah. Well, this time I'm going to change fate. And you're like, shut the fuck up, cunt. By this stage in the fucking real game, I hadn't even fucking met you. You were just something fucking Cloud fucking imagined sometimes, okay? But now you won't shut the fuck up. Holy shit. Okay, so you're like, well, that's all good with me. What a enriching experience. You know what I really enjoyed was fighting that fate monster for 40 fucking minutes over and over again, because by the end of the game, actually even before then, I mean, sword centipede, right? The sword centipede robot, right? Yeah. That thing, it's like they're just like, do you know what? We have to end this game the way we started it. The Scorpion boss is what everyone fucking loved. You only do 1 damage per hit on this thing, and it's got 40,000 fucking hit points. That's it, right? That's it. Even on easy, that fight, the sword centipede took fucking 800 hours, and I'm just like, why will this not end?
You're exaggerating.
And I can't summon any of my favorite fucking I equipped fucking Leviathan on my fucking idiot Cloud dickwad, and I can't summon it. And the other 2 fucking morons in the party have fucking Fat Chocobo and Moogle. Right?
Seems like
so my options are chickens or the one summon I actually wanted to use, and that bitch Aerith, right? That bitch Carol Baskin, that bitch Aerith has fucking stolen the other good fucking summon materia, and I can't fucking fight Azura at the moment. Cool. I'm fucking stoked. Great stuff. And then fucking Sephiroth won't shut the fuck up. Nobody will shut the fuck up. Everyone's yapping all the time. I don't know if it's just... this is the other thing, right? I couldn't tell by this point in the game if I was just annoyed as fuck at the game or if everything was getting worse. But I'm 90% sure everything was getting worse, right? The story got really fucking dumb. How is it cool with you that you kill the Whispers of Fate that are locking you in? Oh my god. Locking you into telling the story of Final Fantasy VII? This is fucking Bugs Bunny killing the fucking writer. Like, are you fucking joking?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept.
Somebody come in and fucking erase this? Fuck off, it's an interesting concept. It's so fucking played out. It is done over and over and over and over again. Holy shit.
You were literally been complaining the last couple of weeks about how you didn't like it and that you couldn't understand why it was like retelling the same game, but it turns out it's not retelling the same game. This is not... I feel like you wanted a remaster, but it's not a remaster. It's a what they're calling a remake. It's a reimagining.
It's a remake. It's not a fucking reimagining.
It is a reimagining.
Shit. Absolute. Okay. Do you like Lord of the Rings?
I didn't read the book. I like the movies. One of them.
Did you read? What about The Hobbit? Did you like The Hobbit?
No. I watched the first one and that was it.
You didn't read The Hobbit, the book?
No.
Well, this is tricky. Let's imagine. Oh, I feel like The Lord of the Rings is a really good one, right? Because, everyone's like, oh, yeah, Lord of the Rings and the Lord of the Rings movies. They're good. Obviously, there are some fucking hyper nerds who are like, well, you didn't really go into fucking blah-de-blah, so I don't really think that it's a faithful representation of Tolkien's masterpiece. And you're like, there's literally 12 hours of film. So, even that is taking the piss. So they had to cut something somewhere. Maybe, you should be happy with what you got. And then there's The Hobbit, which I think they boiled down to at one stage a 12-page comic book, right? And then they built that out into three fucking... They managed to squeeze that one into 12 hours of fucking film, right? And you're like, hey, this one didn't need to be 12 hours long, I think. I'm pretty sure. Fighting on the river, don't think it needed to happen. 16 different dwarf songs, not sure I needed them. This all sucks. I hate it. And yeah, generally, everyone hates the fucking Hobbit films, right? The Hobbit films are a remake of the Hobbit book in the same sense that yours. Like, name another fucking remake. Name another remake that was good in your opinion that fits what Final Fantasy VII Remake does.
That was good. I don't know. I haven't thought about this.
Yeah, of course.
But you can look at Ghostbusters, right? The new Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, the very well received Ghostbusters.
It was
remake.
well received.
Tell me more. Tell me more about how good the Ghostbusters remake is. Now your favorite thing.
It's not my favorite. And that's what I'm saying. Is it like that is a like a reinterpretation of the source material, the material they've come up with, which is exactly what this is. It's not a remaster.
You're arguing that this is good.
Yeah, because I liked it, along with whatever the other percentage of people is liked it. 98% on OpenCritic.
4%.
Oh, 4%. Sorry, my bad. It's a 94%.
98%. What on OpenCritic? Right. Yeah. Okay. So what's the percentage for Half-Life Alyx, please, and thank you.
I don't know. I haven't played Half-Life Alyx. 90.
What's
something. Let's go with that.
No, I know. I've got a good one, Luke.
Wait.
I've got a good one
for
you. Let me just fucking Google some shit, okay?
I just Googled the definition of remake. It says to make something again or differently.
I just Googled Doom OpenCritic. 92% critics recommend. Right. So are they always correct, Luke? Are the critics always right?
I'm not saying I agree with them, but I'm saying that I still enjoyed this game. It's definitely got a lot of problems, but
you brought it up. You're the one who
it's the worst game you've
this
ever
fucking
played.
metric. You're the one who introduced this metric, the OpenCritic fucking percentages. Okay, don't bring up fucking percentages if you don't want to be fucking ripped up on percentages. Okay, they were wrong then. Let's check out.
I'm on the. I just opened up the Final Fantasy whatever this is. 7 remake page that Square Enix played. You said last week or the week before you were tricked. All right, here it says on the front page, literally says this: a spectacular reimagining of one of the most visionary games ever. You go down further.
Where's this?
That's
what's this on?
This is I've clicked on the Final Fantasy page on the PlayStation account.
Half-Life Alyx. Critics recommend 97%. 97%. No. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not as good as everyone's saying. And based on the fact that I'm always right. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. So winding back again, name a remake that you enjoy.
I don't know. I'd have to go and think of it.
Go. Think now. Think right
Like
now.
a
Let me name
video
some other
game?
remakes. Some wildly successful remakes. The Thing. Yeah, that was well done. What it did was it took a perfect film and then it shit its fucking pants. So that's good. That one, it's
What
it's
about
very, very
The Departed?
well. The Departed.
I gotcha.
That is a different language, so
Oh, that's
try
okay
again,
then.
chum.
That's okay then. Well, technically, this was a different language as well because it's a Japanese game.
It was Japanese in the first place, motherfucker. So try again. Anything else? Anything else? The best you're gonna get is, I guess, the Hidden Fortress is Star Wars, but that is tenuous at best. But you could go other Kurosawa stuff like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or stuff like that. That I think that's the best you could. Again, though, different language, a completely different language, and they're taking something from one language and taking it across to a different one.
Did you say The Thing?
I'm talking about.
Already?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's one.
Yeah.
That's a remake.
It's bad. I'm saying, tell me a good one.
No, the Thing, the original, not the original, the one that
John Carpenter.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I'm saying talk about one, right? Instead of picking shit from fucking the early days of cinema, where every single time they remake it, of course it's better because technology has wildly outpaced what they were remaking.
Right.
Instead of that, right, use one from, say, the 90s, right? We're in the era of remakes galore, right? Remakes galore. Use one where they've done it and they've done it well. Just any of them. Just pick one.
What about like James Bond?
That doesn't count.
Like the Casino Royale stuff. That's a reboot.
Casino Royale. Unbelievable. That is a reboot, obviously, and it's pretty different. I'm talking one where they pitch it as a remake. Where Ghostbusters was such a good example of when it failed, much like Final Fantasy VII Remake.
But it hasn't failed.
To go back to me being
like
tricked.
The one who doesn't like it because I think you're too attached to the original game.
No! I've separated myself from my personal feelings for the original game, and I am simply looking at it from the perspective of someone who wanted a good game. And what I got was 2 hours of boss fights that take way too long. This is just the ending, obviously.
Maybe you're just bad at boss fights.
Boss fights that take too long, right? And nonsense story that goes fucking nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
That's because it's the first part, though. It says it's the first part.
All it does is... When does it say it's the first part?
I was just reading it. Where is it here? On the page I'm on, the Final Fantasy page again. The story is the first in a standalone game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake project covers up to the party's escape from Midgar and goes deeper into the events occurring in Midgar than the original. This is on their website. This is on the back of the box.
They probably fucking changed it.
They changed it, all right.
You can't prove that they didn't, first of all.
They also listen to the podcast. We're like, fuck. Get on it.
Bang, 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 bang. Look, I think that it was largely sold as a fucking retelling of the original game. I do not understand how there's a fucking... Like, how we are fucking now changing fucking history to try to claim that it wasn't sold as that. most people were under the impression that what they were getting was a retelling of Final Fantasy VII with updated graphics, and they sold the fucking remake concept. Oh yeah, it's a remake, right? So we're just doing part one, right? I'm not arguing that I didn't know it was part one, right? I understood that it was just the Midgar portion, and I understood that what they were trying to do was flesh Midgar out, right? I don't think they've done that well, first of all, right? I don't think me running around and collecting flowers for some fucking doctor is fleshing out the concept of Midgar. I'm still restricted to fucking 3 sectors, 5, 6, and 7. It's not like I get to go fucking explore, I presume, 1 through 4. I assume those exist. But it's not like we ever get to go there. We don't really spend that much time exploring the plate. Like, there's a lot of fucking Midgar that we never fucking explore, and we spend a lot of time instead running stupid fucking errands that are designed specifically to waste time. Go find this chocobo. Go find this second chocobo. I need some flowers. This guy needs a key for a cemetery. Fucking time wasting horseshit, right? So, first of all, I accept that it was always going to be a remake of Midgar. I don't think they did it well. I don't think what they did was a satisfying storytelling experience. It was busy work. It is the equivalent of killing 10 boars in fucking World of Warcraft. And you do it over and over and over again. I do not understand how this is a, I don't know, good gameplay sequence, but whatever. That's fine. We're never getting beyond Midgar. It's okay. I was never going to go to the Golden Saucer, and I'd come to terms with it. I was never going snowboarding, never going to find Vincent, all these things. It was never going to happen. That's okay. But what they did was they fleshed out the stories in other ways. They introduced Sephiroth all over the fucking place. Non-stop fucking Sephiroth. Holy shit. We're supposed to account for spoiler warning 5 minutes ago. Yeah, we should have done that. Hey, the spoilers continue. Anyway, Sephiroth is all over the fucking place. Okay, non-stop fucking Sephiroth. He didn't show up. He wasn't a presence in the fucking original, right? So they're retelling that, I guess, right?
Well, maybe it's not the same one. Maybe it's a different Sephiroth. You don't know.
Oh, no, it is the same fucking Sephiroth. It's literally the same Sephiroth from the original game. He's teleported to a different fucking universe to come change this universe because he couldn't win in that one. It's some fucking Earth 6 shit. Which also, fuck that shit. And the Whispers of Fate are trying, and you kill the Whispers of Fate. So now so they literally have you kill Whispers of Fate so that they can get away with just doing whatever the fuck they want now, right? Mm-hmm. So the next game isn't going to be a remake. If they had known, like, just explain this, right? If it was always a plan to just go wildly off course with this game, why does it have remake in the fucking name? Why has it been pitched the entire time as a faithful retelling of the Final Fantasy VII story?
Because, wait here, let me get that definition back up. It said to make something again or differently. Differently is the key word there. They've made it differently.
Why is remake used in the title?
Why not? Because it's set in the same universe. They're retelling or reimagining the story. I think it's a better word than Final Fantasy VII reimagined or whatever they want to call it.
Why not just call it Final Fantasy?
For the most part, it is Final Fantasy VII up until that point, except for the last couple of minutes where they spin the story and they're like, all right, well, this is what you think you were getting. We've sort of been teasing all these bits in between that were sort of hinting towards it, but it's not really. Like, it's now going to go off in a different direction.
Right. So I'm not getting Final Fantasy VII updated to the modern era.
Well,
That's not what
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
What I'm getting instead is Final Fantasy Fantasy 13 with the Final Fantasy VII skin.
Yeah.
And I had to pay for it 3 fucking times.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You can download a emulator if you want to play it.
What? Play the original Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, with like 1080p.
Oh, 100%. No, there's no question. I could play the original Final Fantasy VII if I wanted. But what I'm saying is, I was sold on the concept of Final Fantasy VII being remade and what they have delivered instead and made the player complicit in destroying themselves is the idea that what I will be getting is some fucking nonsense. And even if I didn't feel tricked, and I still feel tricked, it doesn't matter. Like, semantic fucking games about the meaning of the word remake, right, don't fucking count for shit, right? They don't fucking matter to me. If you told me that you were remaking Star Wars, A New Hope remake, right? If you told me they were doing a New Hope remake, right? And, like, if The Force Awakens was called A New Hope remake, I would expect Luke, Han, and fucking Leia to show up, and I would not expect fucking Darth Vader to win to fucking murder Luke at the end of some shit, right? Or for Luke and Han and Leia and Chewie to all fucking murder the Whispers of Fate that were trapping them,
right?
And then they'd be like, "Well, I guess the Empire Strikes Back doesn't have to play out like that anymore. We can do whatever the fuck they want." Right? That's basically it, right? Semantic fucking games, like literally wordplay concepts, they don't fucking count for shit because that's not the impression that they were giving off in the lead up to the game. Like, fucking crossing your arms and going, well, remake means they could do whatever they want, doesn't change what I was sold on. That doesn't change what they were trying to get across.
Showed you like 2 different websites that said it wasn't like a remaster. I mean, I don't think it's their fault that you've taken it the wrong way. I've never seen anything that said it was that like the stuff that I'm looking at right now says that it's a reimagining, like that it's.
How come they never fucking showed the Whispers of Fate in the lead up?
I don't know if they did. Did they or did they not?
No,
I never
saw it. I never saw any fucking Whispers of Fate.
If they did,
how come they weren't showing that shit? How come what they showed was stuff that was extremely faithful to Final Fantasy VII? How come they never mentioned any of this shit? This is what I'm saying, right? How come they have done everything they can to dance around the fact that it is wildly different to Final Fantasy VII?
I don't know. I don't have any attachment to that game, so I don't know what would be different compared to the original to this one. Like looking at marketing material to me.
They're selling a game based on the fucking promise of nostalgia, and then they are. It's a bait and switch. It's a classic bait and switch. They specifically sold the game one way. Like, forgive me if I'm wrong, I never saw any evidence of Whispers of Fate. I cannot recall seeing Whispers of Fate in any of the fucking marketing material before the fucking game came out. Right, and I went back and had a look, and I don't think I missed any. Right?
Here you go.
They sold it.
I just found a video from 2019 talking about them. Like people speculate. Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking at the video. I'm just searching Google. Like, it's the first page that came up. First one that came up.
Send me a link.
Where am I copying it to? Facebook?
Wherever.
I guess I paste it in here, right?
Yes, that would make sense.
I don't know what that is. I'm just looking at the like tags.
Yep, fair enough. Watchman of Fate, that's a different name, but whatever. Like I was saying, I may have missed it, but that doesn't matter.
This could be the
Like,
yeah.
What I'm talking about is a situation where they are trying to represent the game one way and then establishing it in a different way. Like you said, you got no attachment. But if you can you not fucking imagine if you did have an attachment to the Final Fantasy VII original game, right? What's something you're fucking attached to more than fucking anything? Let's say they remade Predator.
June.
Right?
Like if they remade that, I'd be very upset. If they remade June.
If they remade Predator.
No, let's go with June.
Right? No.
Why not?
Because what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. They remake Predator.
They're remaking it. It could be the best film of this year, Joe.
Well, like fucking, it's gonna have to like beat off nothing. They're remaking Predator, and all the old cast is back, and all of the ones who are still alive. And they're pitching it as, a faithful reimagining of Predator, and it's going to go, exactly where Predator. It's telling it again, right? After you get over the the Predator doesn't really need to be remade, right? Maybe we should pick something from your fucking childhood that you absolutely adore that is a video games. Maybe the Predator example isn't great because films are dumb to remake. Although Ghostbusters feels like a pretty obvious one. What was your favorite game growing up, Luke?
Let's go Counter-Strike, eh?
Why are you like this?
I'm not. It was. Did they remake Counter-Strike? I think they did.
They're remaking Soldier of Fortune 2, and they pitch it as a full-blown remake of Soldier of Fortune 2. It is faithful. They've got all the old devs on. It's going to be fucking nailing it. All the fucking, all of the promotional materials make it look exactly like Soldier of Fortune 2. You got your fucking bunny hopping and you fucking jumping and all this kind of shit. All the weapons look the same, and then you get into the game and they're like, oh no, it's a point and click adventure. Like, yeah, when you click, right, it plays out. Like you think it does, right? We what we represented is definitely what you think you saw, right? But it's not that kind of game anymore. We've changed it, right? Like you would be fucking pissed, wouldn't you?
Maybe.
Yes, no, right? And let's say that you played through the fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake, expecting it to set up your ability to go into the rest of Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII world, and you would get to then experience the portion of Final Fantasy VII that people actually fucking like, right? And then they're like, nah, we're probably, not only is that not the case, but we're probably never going to do that, right? And you, as the player, killed the fucking Dementors that were making us do that. Now we're free to do whatever the fuck we want, and what you're probably going to get from here on out is a linear story RPG experience with terrible voice acting, really bad scripts, and a lot of sequences where you slowly sidle through things for loading purposes that everyone will just sort of accept for some reason, even though it's tedious as fuck.
Yeah. Like I said, I never said it's the best game I've played. I still enjoyed it. There's got a lot of problems. Like I can still watch a shit movie and have fun with it.
You said you really liked it.
Yeah, I had fun with it. There's no way I'd give it anything higher than 7.5 or something like that. I don't like their solution for limiting party members to 3 people. I think that's dumb. Like I would have liked for them to have 4 party members. I don't know the reason why that is, if it's some sort of attachment to the original game.
Yes.
And then Like because that's where I thought eventually it was going to go to. I said this last week that like I thought it was going to lead to 4 party members. It doesn't. It just gets you to 3. Then there's like one that'll show up every once in a while, do some damage, and then piss off. They will have the 4th party member standing in the background every once in a while and kind of just come in at the end cutscene to do stuff. Like that is not a good way to solve that. That's not even a solution. It's just lazy at that point. There's never a stage where you can choose what party members you want in the game, which is fucked because you end up with certain members having certain abilities. Like, oh, this is my healer, but now all of a sudden they're out of the fight, and so you've either got to have everybody with heal, which is what I was doing anyway. But even then, it's like, oh well, I'm fighting this thing, and its elemental resistance is this particular effect, and I don't. Maybe that's on the other character. It just seems like a bad way of handling all that stuff. So yeah, if that is the attachment, to have it like be the same as the original game, a 3-party member system, it's weird because even looking back at I think the last couple of games have had more than 3 people. So I don't know why they wouldn't just go to that. It's hopefully something they address in the next game, but for the most part, I still like the combat. For me is where I enjoyed it the most. Like you said, I'm not too attached to the story stuff. I think the voice acting is terrible for the most part. The writing's not very good, but I still had fun playing it. Like, I wouldn't go give it a fucking Academy Award for all the other shit it's doing.
I guess at the end of the day, right? If I didn't have fun playing in the combat, and I didn't, and I think I have been upfront about that. If you didn't have fun with the combat, what would you think of the game?
Might be a lot worse. Like I said, it's the most fun I've had with a Final Fantasy game in a long time in terms of combat, because I've not liked any of the combat they've done the recent years. And the story for me, for the last couple, weren't engaging. They're always just weird bullshit that's going on. Whereas this one, at least I had some sort of comprehension of what was happening.
I don't know how you got to the end of that game and still had a comprehension of what was happening, because I had to fucking work.
I think we're past the spoiler section, like way past it. But I got hints of what was going on because I saw things that were coming up, like the flashback sequences and stuff like that. And they sort of lean into it a bit towards the end, a bit more, and then you see other things happen.
So we're not doing spoilers shit?
I don't know if we should. We're like 40 minutes past.
There's that one part, right? I'm not going to be specific, but there's that one part right at the end where they start just imagining shit from the future or the present, right?
Yeah, it's the future. I think they're saying like we're being shown what will happen. That was the line that one of the characters gives.
But okay, well, yeah, okay. Chronologically, that's very confusing because, from how I understand the timeline of the original game to work, some of that should have already happened. But it also showed you all that shit before they established that. So it just sort of fucking smash cut to some other fucking scene with some other fucking characters. You're like, what? What is going on? Like,
yeah, like those characters are sharp. I don't know who they are. Like, I wouldn't have a clue. But after doing some quick reading, well, some quick looks at some videos people have posted, like getting out of here. Okay, this is like who that is and what they're a part of and that sort of stuff. But yeah, like aside from that intricate stuff into the Final Fantasy universe, like I still had a grasp of what was going on in the main story, as opposed to some of the other stuff where like the Earth is dying and some fucking lady's in charge of looking after the planet and all this other weird shit that has happened in the past in some of the other games. So yeah. Anyway.
Nonsense story. Bad voice acting, bad scripts. Like, a combat system I didn't care about, right? hate it. I just didn't give a fuck about it. That took the fight scenes at the end were way too long. I don't understand. How was that fun?
It didn't
It
take any
just
long at
went
all.
on and
I reckon it
on and
was
on.
10, 15 minutes at the most, that last boss.
10, 15 minutes is too long for a fucking boss fight.
But it's broken up
Man.
into like 4 different fights.
Broken up with fucking stupid scenes of you running from one location to another so you can go into the fucking boss fight again. It's the equivalent of the Monster Hunter fucking every monster runs away from you type shit, except in this case you're the one doing the running away. Like, it's just fucking, they're just extended for no reason. Instead of 4 fights, it could have just been one fight that was 2.5 minutes long. The running from location to location added nothing. That's my biggest problem with the game. Every single thing that extends the time of it adds nothing. It doesn't add tension. It just adds time. It just extends it. It's pointless. It's pointless extension. You fall through a grate. Someone steals your key or whatever. Fucking the boss is destroying the platform, so you fucking run away. Like, there's no reason for this shit except to fucking lengthen. It's constant. It is infuriating. It is such a time waster of a game for no reason other than they literally needed for it to go longer and they didn't know how to make it go longer. It is insane how bad I think that shit is. Like,
well,
I just
maybe
hate...
some people could use a time waster of a game right now.
Yeah, maybe they should play Antimatter Dimensions then.
Yeah, maybe. All right, let's go on to some news because we've been going on for a while now.
It's not even a long episode, Luke.
It looked like it was going to be a short one, and now it's like 40 minutes later. All right.
Sorry to disappoint.
First piece we got up here is I'm not sure if you've seen much of this, but concerns raised over Valorant's anti-cheat methods. So Valorant is the new Riot first-person / hero shooter game that's currently in alpha, closed alpha or something, closed beta, that you can get into by watching Twitch streams at the moment. And that seems to be doing very well for their numbers right now, even though I'm seeing a lot of videos of streamers being like, I fucking hate this game, but they're getting views. I mean, it's a very smart marketing decision by Riot.
Yeah.
Which a lot of streamers seem to hate. So yeah, this is in relation to the anti-cheat, and they've been talking about it quite a lot recently, sort of the things they're doing and the methods they're looking into. In particular, this one that was raised on their Reddit page is that their anti-cheat is currently running in the computer's kernel mode. When you boot up the computer, it's running all the time. As opposed to what most anti-cheats do is when you boot up the game, it runs the application or the anti-cheat in kernel mode, and then tries to detect any other dodgy programs that are running or anything that's in the background that shouldn't be working. And so people are getting a bit cautious about it, I guess, because they don't want this program running on their computer all the time, even when they're not playing the game. So yeah, that's where things are kind of at the moment. You can kind of look at it 2 sides. I guess the people that don't want random shit running on their computer all the time, not knowing what it's doing, especially when it's doing things like searching and looking at what other programs you've got going at the same time, or searching your hard drives and things like that. It's obviously some security concerns there. But also if and the other side of it is, what if Riot is doing dodgy shit, like getting your personal information? That is something I'd never see would happen. Like, if that sort of thing came out, that would probably destroy the company, especially like in terms of a relationship with players and what they're doing. Like, I don't think they'd ever come back from that. That'd be a huge conflict in terms of the trust between developer and their community. But at the same time, like, obviously people don't want their computer being scanned 24/7 when they're not playing the game that this thing is supposed to be protecting. So yeah, have you had a chance? Did you know anything about this? Did you see anything about it?
Yeah, I did see this when it first popped up. I've looked into a little bit at this stage. People haven't seen it sending any data, so it is literally just a DLL because all they're trying to do is, if as long as it's there on startup, a lot of hacks. What a lot of hacks try to do is get around anti-cheat by like usurping the DLL itself.
Yeah,
And so if it's there on startup, it can't be injected prior to it beginning. So hacks
sure.
will, when the DLL becomes active on activation of the game, the hacks will attempt to inject before the DLL is active itself. But if it's active on startup, that raises the difficulty level quite significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why they're trying to do it, right? It makes sense. It has like a sort of internal logic to it.
They're trying to make it harder,
But
at least.
yeah, but at the same time, I understand people's concerns because yeah, it isn't really something that should be happening. The DLL file itself is only active to enable the anti-cheat program to run, and all they're trying to do is avoid having the cheat hook itself into the DLL prior to the DLL starting up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So as long as the DLL is dormant, and people can track that it's dormant
Mm-hmm.
until the game begins. And as far as I can tell, the DLL is always dormant. It's literally just like there to stop like any hook being or any script being injected.
Sure.
As long as that remains, I don't think it's that big a deal, but there is a degree of vigilance required to make sure it never changes. And there's also, I suppose, an argument that says that there's no need for the same vigilance if you never fucking install it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Like fucking Tiger King, right? Like if you own a bunch of fucking tigers, you got to be always vigilant that you don't have that Carol fucking Baskin doesn't spray some fucking perfume on your shoes or some shit. Try and get a tiger to eat you, right? You got to be eternally vigilant about that shit, right? Or you could just not own tigers, in which case you don't actually have to be vigilant about that, right? Like you don't have to worry about tigers eating your shoes.
Yeah.
There's I guess two sides to that old story, right? I don't think Riot are tigers that you need to be worried about necessarily, but I think these are valid concerns that people who are playing Valorant should keep in the back of their mind. You know, should remain aware of. But yeah, I mean, it's still not out in Australia. It's still not available in Australia, which is, yeah, makes it sort of a moot point, right? Like, it doesn't really matter to us because we still can't fucking play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, if you want to look into that
what do
further,
you
you
think?
can.
It's available in America, Luke. So are you going to play it or what?
I need to get a key, and it seems extremely hard to get a key by watching streams.
Right.
So
You could
maybe
hit
not.
up Riot.
I could hit up Riot, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So you can definitely look into that a bit more. I understand that they're trying to sort of counter that, but at the same time, there are cheats already out for this game. Like it's not currently working to its full effect. There's probably
Really?
more ways that they can stop that from happening. I think they talked about like incorporating authentication with phones. Was that them? Like having to tie a phone account to your.
Right. Yeah. No, that's PUBG, isn't it?
Or was that
Isn't that
PUBG?
PUBG's new thing?
Right. Yeah. Anyway, they had a thread go up, and they were talking about a bunch of different ways that they were looking into anti-cheat and how that sort of works. But at least they're thinking about that before the game comes out, unlike some developers. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up, we've got the a Bloomberg report that suggests that Sony plans to limit the PlayStation 5 output in its first year to 5 to 6 million units. And that's in comparison to the PlayStation 4, which sold 7.5 million units during the same period. This apparently has nothing to do with the coronavirus, though. So
that's weird. That's the weird part, right? Like,
well, at the end of the day, it could come down to all this technology they're using in there, right? Maybe it's harder to get. It's people, maybe their internal numbers are saying that this thing is going to be a lot more expensive, so they're not going to sell as many. It could be just a matter of pacing themselves. We know that hardware costs get cheaper as time goes on.
But hardware costs only get cheaper, like as the manufacturing becomes more efficient.
Yeah, and easy to do. Right.
Yeah, but the efficiency will not grow because manufacturing has been slowed or halted.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the idea that it isn't affected by coronavirus, like, on some level, I guess what I'm saying is, on some level, everything is affected by coronavirus.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. I just don't see how. Yeah, I just don't see how this could somehow not be impacted by it. 5 to 6 million doesn't seem that low a number to me.
Sure.
You know, like, that's still a pretty.
It's a lot.
Like, if they could sell through that, that's still a lot of units out in the fucking wild. That's enough to justify third-party production. You know?
Yeah, and then you get to the stage where it's that driving hype up, like, right? Like, you've got to have this thing because remember what happened with the Switch? Not the Switch, the Wii, right?
Yeah.
Where that was like
Wii,
impossible to get.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I guess we'll see. They've obviously got some sort of plans. And that's also 7.5 million in the first half of the year. So from November till, because the rumor at the moment is it'll be dropping in November. There was a leaked release date that came up for one of the consoles recently. I don't remember if it was, I think it was Xbox. Like the website updated with an actual.
Oh, they got a logo now or something.
A rough date.
I'm not. They got the logo and like the much rougher date, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I know there's rumors that it's going to be announced. Like, lots of details are going to come out way sooner than E3 now and stuff. Yeah. But I just haven't seen enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the timing of this stuff, like, we probably would have heard a lot of information in May, and there was some reports today saying that there's going to be some announcements in May anyway. And that's generally the time when you're like, all right, here's the hardware, here's the things they're doing, just trying to get it out of the way of the actual game announcements. But they could just slam all them together into one and be like, all right, here's all the hardware stuff, here's a couple games, and we'll slowly be doing more and more over the next couple of months leading up to November, because it's really not that far away. It's going to be five months.
Yeah.
By the time they announce all this stuff.
Yeah, like they kind of got to get it out there, right?
Yeah. And it seems like Microsoft is more than happy to jump on first with all this stuff and let Sony sort of linger behind at this stage, because we've not heard a lot from Sony. Like, we've seen what the controller looks like, right? But we don't know what the box is yet. I would assume that is something that's going to happen real soon, though. Like, if they're showing the controller, right, it doesn't make sense for them to be like, here's the controller, and then just radio silence for 2 months.
No, we got to see it soon.
Yeah,
100%.
especially like they're probably making this thing at this stage. They don't want that to leak, or at least they're about to start making it. So they've got to get on it. So anyway, that was it for news because we talked about the Call of Duty Warzone stuff already.
Word.
So that is it. We've also got some questions. We got an email as well. I don't know if you can bring that up or if I need to bring that up, but
I can bring it up.
We can have a look. And there might be some stuff in the Discord, I feel like.
I'm pretty sure there is. I've got the little thing, the indicator. I'm not seeing a question. What?
In where? In Discord?
In the email.
Off the top of my head, I think it was from Paul. Unless that
found it.
You found it. Cool. I wrote it down. So
Paul writes. Nice. Hello, Joab and Luke. Joab, you have previously said you review games on the default difficulty setting. In your critique of Alex, you complained that Combine soldiers took 2 headshots at hard difficulty. Is the default difficulty setting of Alex hard? Oh, it's a good one. No, the default difficulty setting is not hard. I was talking about
the comparison between Half-Life Alex and Half-Life
2. 2 headshots on hard is Half-Life 2 difficulty. In Alex, headshots take 3 shots on normal. I also played on hard, and it takes 5 shots, if I recall correctly. But yes, I played on default difficulty setting, and what I was trying to do is make a direct comparison between Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and Half-Life Alex. So yeah, 2 headshots was hard difficulty in Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, Half-Life Alex took 3, which is specifically what was driving me bananas, because on normal it was more difficult to kill Combine than it was to kill Combine in Half-Life 2 on a harder difficulty, which is ridiculous to me, especially considering the mechanic of shooting itself is more complex in Half-Life Alex, because it is very easy to point and click, and it is not as easy to shoot a fucking gun as I think anyone will tell you. I could blap cunts in Call of Duty, and I don't think I could blap cunts IRL. The email continues. Suggestions for future milestone episodes. Stepping into the Wayback Machine. Joab and Trog should discuss the banning of Booth, as this resulted in the largest thread in the history of the Game Arena forums. I don't remember that thread. I remember...
What was it called?
The banning of Booth. I remember banning... no, not banning. I remember the cooking thread that got so big that we had to fucking... we almost had to start a new fucking thread. I kept getting emails from the Mammoth guys because they were annoyed because the thread wouldn't close and people kept raising it from the dead. And every time I got annoyed with the guys at Mammoth because they do something that annoyed me, I would necromance that thread and bring it back from the dead, just fucking upset them again. I don't remember the banning. I'm gonna have to fucking Wayback Machine that shit for sure.
It sounds familiar, like the first part does.
It 100% does. Oh my lord, it does. Yeah. I definitely remember. Part. Yeah. I just don't remember. My latest conspiracy theory: Luke and COVID-19 turn up in San Francisco at the same time. Coincidence? I think not. That is pretty fucking eerie, Luke. You got anything to say about that?
No, I've been here for 7 or 8 months now. 8 months, maybe.
And COVID-19 has been in San Fran for how long?
I mean, there's theories saying that it might have shown up in New York in like December or something like that, but the first recorded case was in like January, late January.
Yeah, that's what you want us to think.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a good. I think it's a pretty solid conspiracy theory. Or Luke needed a couple of months to create.
get it out there.
Yeah. Have fun, guys, and don't run out of alcohol, Paul. Thanks, Paul. Good. Good email question. Thank you for writing.
I remember.
Yeah, he has. He's probably the only person who uses the email.
That's
but
okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
I like it. Yeah. Soon we'll be getting faxes. And what's your fax number, Joab?
Oh, I don't know.
Pigeons.
I don't even have a fucking landline. So I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, "Oh, yeah." And my dad's had his landline with Telstra for fucking blah 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 blah, like fucking 30 years or something. I'm like, why does he still have a landline?
Old people.
Like they were talking. They were like going deep on something in particular. And they're like, they were talking about something completely different, and I could not get past the landline thing. Like, why does he still have a? I don't understand.
Because like my grandparents have a landline, but that's because they're very old and it's hard for them to use a phone. Like they just don't understand it. It's very easy for us. We've grown up with them for us, not even that long.
No, we're pretty old, Luke.
Yeah. Like touchscreen phones haven't been around that long when you think about it.
No, like 2 decades.
Yeah, but
not even that. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, but trying to get an elderly person to like, here's how you use a touchscreen phone, and it's just too fucking hard for them. And then some of them can't see properly; they have bad eyes, and yeah, it's easy to pick up a phone. Just be like, bam, dial that.
Anyway, that is true.
Carrier pigeon, maybe. Carrier pigeon?
How come you've got fucking loads of fucking understanding for fucking old people and their phones? When I try to get you to understand how Final Fantasy VII Remake upsets me, you're like, remake means this. The Oxford Dictionary says remake is defined as. And like, get the fuck out of here. That's not what I'm talking about. Clearly, it's not what I'm talking about.
You wait till June comes out and you'll be like, I want every film remade. That's what I want now. I want a remake of all of them because June is so good. Denis.
Literally, your first fucking example of a remake film was the Ghostbusters remake, you motherfucker. Like, how the fuck are you going to open with that?
Film were really good, and then it just got fucking crap at the end, where there's like a dance sequence.
Yeah. Huh. No argument from here. For me, the first... Wait, so the... Are you saying the ending spoiled that movie?
Yeah.
The ending made that movie bad?
Yeah.
And what have I been saying about Final Fantasy VII Remake? Interesting. Interesting stuff.
The combat joke
is also garbage.
Right,
Drew Money, Dr. E3 Money, Dre 3 Money. Right. Have either of you checked out Satisfactory? I've seen Drew's playing Satisfactory right now. I'm loving it.
No,
it's a great cup.
Why is Drew asking if we've played a game or not? Is Drew not listening to the podcast anymore?
Whoa! He's one of our patrons. Let's not shit on him too hard.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you, Drew. I'm loving it, and it's a great co-op experience, and that's even with me having to play it with Gerald and his giant messy spaghetti conveyor belt builds. Yeah, that's pretty.
What was the game called?
Satisfactory.
Okay. Satisfactory. Yes, I've seen this pop up in my Steam list. It's a factory building.
It's on Epic Games, isn't it? It's not on Steam, is it? I think it's on Epic.
Yeah, this is Steam link right here. It was an early access game on Steam. Right, they must have moved it across.
Oh, right. I think it's coming back to... We're releasing on Steam, they said, on February 12.
Okay.
on a Tuesday in 2020.
Hmm.
So it's currently on Epic Game Store. Would probably be a good one for people and their less gaming keen partners. Just remember to turn off the spiders. Gerald tried to convince us to play this game ages ago. Gerald is one of our mates who is one of the worst shooter players I've ever experienced. He's the reason we all stopped playing Blackouts because he shot Nate with a rocket launcher in what is still one of my favorite fucking videos of all time. Just because the sheer confusion in everyone's voice, because that game had friendly fire and he just straight up murdered Nate
all the time. Oh, speaking of Gerald, though, I just remembered I've been playing Fallout 76, but I'll put that on the list for next week.
Thank God. Yeah. Gerald, he's tried to convince us to play this a couple of times. I never really got into it. It feels like, I think the reason I don't want to play Satisfactory is it seems to me like an idle game, except a very active idle game, right? Like, are you just sort of like setting up a bunch of stuff and then it does a bunch of stuff? Like, I don't really understand the gameplay loop. You haven't really sold me on it in this one, Drew. I don't really understand what you do except deal with Gerald and his giant messy spaghetti conveyor belt builds. I've looked at videos and it just sort of looks like it looks like Minecraft without the spelunking. And it turns out that most of the time when I play Minecraft, all I want to do is spelunk. But if it's got spelunking, I guess I'll play it. I'll give it a shot. But primarily the reason I haven't played it is because Gerald suggested it, and the last game Gerald suggested before Satisfactory was we all play Fallout 76. So,
that had some building in it.
They did have building in it, yeah. Why don't you guys play Fallout 76?
I am playing it. I started.
Shut up. I'll install Fallout 76.
No, we don't have to play it together.
Okay, thank fuck.
We gotta jump back in and play like Green Hell and Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves got a big update.
Yeah, sure did.
We should check that out for sure.
Yeah, I think today it got pushed out.
Nice.
Cats. They've got cats in there now. Fuck, I just bought a monkey. I'm so annoyed.
Oh, such a waste. And I got a bird. If your cat attacks my bird, I'm very upset.
Yeah. Is that all the questions?
Yep. Yep, that's it. Good stuff, Drew. Thanks for writing in. Thanks for writing in, Paul. That's it. We can wrap this podcast up. Go have some lunch.
Let's not. Okay, let's do that. You can find us, The Gap, the GA podcast, on iTunes, Android, Spotify, Windows Store. Where else are we? Podbean. Everywhere you can find your podcast, that's where you can get us. We're on The Gap, the GA podcast, The Gap podcast. If you do have a moment, please rate and review the show. Helps other people find us on those platforms. You can email us if you'd like to, thegapodcast@gmail.com, like Paul did. Thank you, Paul. Otherwise, you can find us on Discord, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You jump in there, leave us some questions on our question page, or you can just chat in our many different things we've got there. I can't see it at this stage because I use my Discord. So there's lots of channels going in there, but people are talking about things. There's some stuff happening in the last couple of days. Like Joab said, talking about cheating and that sort of thing. Big thread in there, so very active community.
Good discussion. I like it.
Yeah. But otherwise, you can also find us on social media, twitter.com/GA podcast, facebook.com/GA podcast. We have a YouTube page if you want to watch the video of us sitting here, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. I don't think I added any game footage last week, because I don't think we had anything, and this week will probably be quite similar because I can put some Warlords in New York stuff up there, but otherwise it's just gotten really dark in my room. Otherwise, I don't have much else. So you can check that on YouTube if you want to. I've noticed a bunch of people following us the last couple of days, so thank you for that.
Cool.
Otherwise, you can also find us on our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all our previous shows, past episodes, and all the links we talked about today. If you want to check out those, maybe you forget them. And that's all thanks to our Patreon members who help run our podcast. If you want to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GA podcast. Thank you to everyone that does that. We recently put up we've now got a second host, which is hosting our podcast to stop the website from crashing, and it seems to be going pretty well. I don't know, it's working. No one's complained.
So grateful. Yeah.
Which is very good.
Thanks so much.
So thanks to everyone that's doing that. And if you have any other suggestions, let us know. Always open to hearing people's thoughts. Maybe you want us to post this on the radio or something. I don't know. I don't know how to do that, but Joab will figure it out, and we'll get on the radio for you.
You're the one who figures everything out. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't figure shit out. You do all the figuring out on this fucking podcast, and I show up and I don't know, drop fucking.
Maybe I can just say we're on planes now, but nobody ever know because there's no planes.
That's genius.
Yeah,
we're on Virgin Australia flights. Oh, that's bad.
That's unfortunate.
That's a bad one.
It's too soon. That is too soon. You can't be doing that, Joe. That's inconsiderate.
Yeah, that's why I don't do anything on this podcast. I can't be trusted.
Yeah, you're too dodgy. All right, you got anything you want to pimp out this week? Last week was your Red Bull video, which I watched. It was very good.
It was interesting to see what they chopped from that to get it down to the time that they wanted it to be.
It was supposed to be a 4-hour video, but in classic
like with me talking, yeah, absolutely, it was fucking ages. It was long. But I on that video we talk about Clickety from G2 mentions that he doesn't have any map weaknesses because he's a god walking on Earth. And I said that Clubhouse is clearly his weakness because they got 7-0'd at the Invitational on Clubhouse and then auto banned it for the rest. I went and looked it up, and they have not won a round of Clubhouse since October of last year. Nice. It is definitely their weakest map. They've got they've lost on it 4 more times since the Invitational. They just keep losing on Clubhouse. They're terrible at Clubhouse. Anyway, I thought that was pretty insightful. But yeah, anyway, no, I don't have anything else at the moment. I've got some stuff, but I don't get to say when it goes up, so I'll just have to wait and see.
Yep. Nothing for me either. You can find me on twitter.com/Luke Lawrie, Lawrie. Otherwise, that's it for this week. Next week, Gears Tactics is out. I think we'll be able to talk about it then.
Yes.
So does that come out early next week, or is it?
I don't know. Review embargo lifts Monday next week, so.
Right. Comes out middle of next week, probably the day we record. So we'll be talking about that anyway, because I think we've both got copies at this stage. So anyway, that should be fun to talk about. Hopefully I'll have my VR kit by then. Talk about
apparently cleared customs.
Apparently
cleared customs. I got an email saying it's cleared customs. So it's now just onto the USPS, I guess.
Oh, yep. Now it's definitely gone.
So it's gone.
No, they're pretty good for the most part. Okay. All right, that's it. Thanks everyone listening. We'll see you all next week.